you already know what real summer felt like. The kind of July that makes the pavement shimmer and turns a front porch into the best seat in the house. Somewhere down the block, a sprinkler is going, the grass smells like cut clover, kids are running, the screen door is slamming every 5 minutes. There were no food blogs, no Facebook groups for discussions, no celebrity chefs telling moms how to make the perfect summer meal. But this universal rule about summer food that every mom in America knew, and kids who couldn't wait to find out what meal was waiting for them at the end of the day. I am willing to bet, by number 1, you are going to be amazed that someone finally remembered these. Cold ham salad.
Anytime I'm serving ham and I have a lot left over, y'all, I love to make ham salad, and my family loves it too.
The ham wasn't gone just because Sunday dinner was over. Not in Grandma's kitchen. Monday, maybe Tuesday, that leftover ham would come back as something even better. Ground up fine or diced small, mixed with a good spoonful of mayo, a little mustard, some sweet pickle relish, maybe a hard-boiled egg if there were any left from the week. Chilled overnight and served cold on soft white bread or crackers. Cold ham salad was summer lunch. Simple and satisfying and completely unpretentious. You didn't need a recipe. You needed leftover ham and good instincts. And most grandmothers had both in abundance. Packed into a plastic container and set in the refrigerator, it kept all week. And every time you opened that container,
this is the way my mom made it, and it always has to have cubed ham.
Nothing went to waste. That was the whole point. And it tasted like a virtue. Push up.
So I love the push pop thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's good.
And for that, you got one of the best inventions the 20th century ever produced. The push-up. That little orange cylinder with the cardboard tube you pushed from the bottom. Creamy sherbet, almost always orange, that you'd work up with your thumb, licking the edges before they melted down your hand. Every kid had their own technique. Some twisted it, some bit the top clean off, which always started an argument. And there was always one in every group who somehow made theirs last 20 minutes while everyone else was already sticky and done. You couldn't be sad while eating a push-up. That's just a medical fact. It tasted like summer concentrated into a 3-inch tube of frozen happiness. And when you got to the cardboard bottom,
reminds me of my childhood. Growing up on the farm, my mom used to make us custom push pops all the time.
You licked it clean first. Every single time. Fudgesicles.
Melt in your mouth homemade Fudgesicles. They taste like the ones that you loved as a kid.
Fudgesicles left a mark. Literally. You'd finish one and look down at your hands and know exactly what you'd been doing for the last 5 minutes. That chocolate ring around your mouth? Badge of honor. Back then, a box of Fudgesicles in the freezer was a sign that summer was being taken seriously in that household. Grandma stocked them. Mama stocked them. And if you were a good kid, or even a pretty okay kid, there was usually one with your name on it after supper. Hand-cranked, homemade strawberry ice cream. If there was one summer ritual that could bring every single person in the family outside, it was this one. Somebody would drag out that old wooden bucket. Somebody else would go to work crushing the ice. And you, if you were lucky, got the first turn on the crank. The process took the better part of an afternoon, and every child in the neighborhood understood that their job was to keep cranking because the reward was worth it. The strawberries came fresh from the garden or the farm stand down the road. Grandma would hull them herself, mash them just enough to release the juice, then fold them into that sweet cream custard she'd been making since her own mother taught her. When that first scoop hit your bowl, still a little soft and barely frozen, cold and pink and sweet in a way no store-bought carton ever matched, that was summer. Back in those days, making ice cream together was how a family spent a Saturday, and nobody complained about the wait, not even once. Sun tea. Every porch and windowsill had one. A big glass jar, sitting full of water and tea bags right in the path of the afternoon sun. Sun tea required nothing but time and patience, two things summer had in abundance. You'd set it out in the morning, and by late afternoon, it had turned that deep amber brown that meant it was ready. You didn't rush it. You couldn't. The sun worked on its own schedule. Poured over ice, maybe a squeeze of lemon, maybe a sprig of mint from the garden if somebody had thought to plant one. Sun tea was the taste of a slow afternoon, of sitting still for once, of a porch chair and a ceiling fan, and not having anywhere to be.
Summertime is the best time to brew your own sun tea. All you have to do is gather your favorite botanicals and mix them well.
Grandma kept a jar going all summer long. It was always ready when you needed it. It never cost more than a few tea bags and a warm afternoon, and it tasted every single time like exactly what summer was supposed to feel like. Stuffed artichokes.
Stuffed artichokes are a childhood favorite of mine. They might look difficult to do, but trust me, after you learn a few tricks, they're so easy.
In Italian-American households across the country, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, San Francisco, stuffed artichokes were not a summer dish. They were the summer dish. Grandma would trim the leaves, pack them with seasoned breadcrumbs, garlic, parsley, a good handful of grated pecorino, a drizzle of olive oil. Then she'd set them upright in a pot with just enough water in the bottom and let them steam for the better part of an hour while the whole kitchen filled with a smell that was pure garlic, warm bread, and something ancient and good. Eating them was a ritual in itself. You pulled each leaf off one by one, scraped the soft, garlicky filling off with your teeth, and worked your way toward the heart, which was the prize, the treasure at the center that you'd earned leaf by leaf. It was slow food in the best possible sense. You couldn't eat it fast. You couldn't eat it alone, really. Stuffed artichokes demanded a table and a family and time. And in the long summer months of the 1970s and 80s, those things were in good supply. Root beer floats.
I need a root beer float, baby, that's all right with me.
You didn't need a recipe for a root beer float. You needed a cold bottle of A&W, one good scoop of vanilla ice cream, and a tall glass you didn't mind fogging up with condensation. Pour the root beer first. Watch it foam. Drop in the scoop and listen to it fizz and crackle. Then grab a long spoon and a straw, because you were going to need both. The ice cream would melt at the edges into this creamy, sweet foam that tasted like nothing else on earth. In the summer of the 1970s and 80s, a root beer float was as close to fancy as a Wednesday afternoon got. Drive-in restaurants served them in frosted mugs. Grandmas made them at home. And every time someone handed you one, it felt like a small celebration, even if nothing special was happening. That was the whole point.
Double stick popsicles. Whoever designed the double stick popsicle understood something important. Summer is better when you share it. 2 sticks, 1 bar. You'd snap it down the middle and hand half to whoever was standing next to you. A brother, a friend, the kid from 2 doors down, who always seemed to show up right when the popsicles came out. Nobody planned it. It just happened. The double stick popsicle practically required you to be generous. Cherry was the classic. Grape was a close second. And the orange ones always tasted slightly different from the real orange popsicles in a way you could never quite put into words, but recognized immediately. Hot afternoon, sticky hands, purple tongues, sitting on the curb or the back steps with somebody you liked. That was the whole summer right there in 2 sticks.
To share with you today one of my favorite family recipes that's been passed on from my great-grandmother to my grandmother to my mother to me, and now
Swedish pancakes. Warm and intimate. Sunday morning light. A different pace. Not every summer memory lived in the backyard. Some of the best ones happened at the kitchen table, first thing in the morning, before the heat had time to settle in. Swedish pancakes were a tradition in Scandinavian American households across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the upper Midwest, but they found their way into kitchens far beyond. Thinner than American pancakes, richer than a crepe, cooked fast in a buttered pan until the edges turned golden and lacy. Rolled with lingonberry jam and a dusting of powdered sugar, or layered with whipped cream and fresh strawberries from the garden, they were Sunday morning made into food. Grandma would stand at the stove and keep them coming while everyone sat and waited and nobody was in a hurry to go anywhere.
Tang. NASA put a man on the moon, and Tang came along for the ride. General Foods had been selling Tang since 1957, but it was the space program that turned it into a legend. When word got around that astronauts were drinking it up in orbit, every kid in America wanted a glass. And parents were happy to oblige because it was cheap, it kept forever on the shelf, and it was a whole lot easier than squeezing real oranges at 7 in the morning. You mixed it with cold water in that familiar glass pitcher, the one with the orange powder still clinging to the sides if you hadn't stirred it enough, and you drank it in the heat of a July afternoon and convinced yourself it tasted just like orange juice. It didn't taste like orange juice. Nobody over the age of 12 actually believed it tasted like orange juice, but it was cold and sweet and bright orange, and that was enough. If you grew up in the 70s and 80s, Tang was in your kitchen, guaranteed. And somewhere in your memory, a glass of it still means summer.
Condensed milk with Libby's peach slices. Open the tin of peaches, pour the condensed milk right over the top. That's it. That's the whole recipe. And it was magnificent. Libby's canned peach slices were a pantry staple in millions of households through the 70s and 80s. On their own, perfectly fine. But pour a generous drizzle of sweetened condensed milk over them. That thick, almost caramel-like sweetness from the carnation tin. Recipes are that way. Simple on purpose. Perfect in their simplicity.
Creamsicle. That combination of orange sherbet on the outside and vanilla ice cream in the center. It sounds simple enough. But the moment you bit through the cold citrus shell into that soft cream beneath, something happened that food scientists have probably spent decades trying to explain and still haven't quite nailed. The Popsicle brand had introduced them decades earlier, but by the 70s and 80s, they were an institution. Moms kept a box in the deep freeze for the hard days. The really hot ones, when the kids had been inside too long and the house was about to come apart at the seams. Hand out a creamsicle, and things got quiet real fast. Orange and cream. Two things that had no business being that good together. And yet, Kebabs or Kabobs. When Dad pulled out the charcoal grill and the long metal skewers, you knew something good was coming. Kebabs were the official meal of the backyard summer cookout, and somebody had to be in charge of the grill. And on kebab night, that person felt important. Threading the skewers was a whole afternoon project. Bell peppers, red, green, yellow, chunks of onion, mushrooms if you had them, squares of marinated beef or chicken, sometimes both, maybe a pineapple chunk or two for the adventurous. By the time everything was lined up on those long metal skewers, it looked like a work of art. The marinade was the secret. Every family had theirs. Soy sauce, garlic, a little Worcestershire, maybe some brown sugar or Italian dressing from a bottle. The meat would soak overnight, and by the time it hit the grill, the whole backyard knew something good was coming. Kebabs on a summer evening meant a crowd, meant lawn chairs and card tables hauled out onto the grass, meant kids running through the sprinkler in the background while the grown-ups stood around the grill holding drinks and talking about nothing in particular. That was the real recipe. The food was just the reason to gather.
Koo Beetroot On Bread. Now, some of you watching will know exactly what this is, and the moment you read those words, something in you already smiled. For South African families, and for the many South Africans who made their homes in America and other parts of the world, a fact of summer life as natural as breathing. Koo was the brand. Those dark, sweet pickled beetroot slices from the tin, layered generously on thick white bread spread with real butter. The juice would bleed into the bread and turn everything that brilliant magenta crimson that stained your fingers and your shirt and, if you weren't careful, your whole face. It was humble food. It cost almost nothing. It required no cooking, no skill, no occasion. It was a slice of bread and a tin of beetroot, and a hot afternoon and hunger. And that was all it needed to be. If you grew up with this, you know. Some things don't need explaining. They just need remembering.
Are you ready for Jiffy Pop?
Yes!
Where is it?
Right there!
There was no reason for Jiffy Pop to be as exciting as it was. And yet, you'd set it on the burner, turn up the heat, and watch. Nothing would happen for a minute. Then there'd be a pop. Then two. Then the foil dome would start to rise, slowly at first, then faster, puffing up like some kind of magic trick happening right there on the stovetop. Kids pressed their faces close to watch. Somebody always grabbed the handle and shook it the way the box said to. By the time it was done, that domed foil had ballooned into something 3 times its original size, hissing and crackling. You tear it open carefully. Steam, butter, the best smell in the world, and carry the whole thing to the couch. Jiffy Pop meant a movie night. It meant summer rain keeping you inside. It meant staying up past bedtime in the glow of the television while moths beat against the window screen. Snow cones and ice cones. The snow cone man had a route, and every kid in every neighborhood in every sun-baked town in America knew the schedule by heart. You could hear the truck or cart coming from 2 blocks away. By the time it rounded the corner, half the children on the street were already at the curb, quarters clutched in sweaty palms, arguing about flavors. The machine shaved the ice into a paper cone faster than you could blink. Then the syrup came. That impossibly red cherry, the electric blue raspberry, the yellow lemon that stained your lips for the rest of the afternoon. You ate it fast because you had no choice. The summer heat had its own agenda, and that cone was on borrowed time from the moment it hit your hand. And toward the bottom, when the syrup had all sunk and the ice was just white and crunchy and cold, that was the best part. Pure ice on a hot day. Nothing simpler, nothing better. Peach tomato corn salad. There is a very specific moment in summer, late July, maybe early August, when everything in the garden is ready at the same time, and there's almost too much of it. Tomatoes on the vine, heavy and warm from the afternoon sun. Sweet corn that snaps clean when you pull back the husk. Peaches so ripe they bruise when you look at them wrong. Peach tomato corn salad was what happened when you didn't want to cook and the garden was trying to talk to you. You slice the peaches, cut the kernels raw off the cob, halve the tomatoes, tossed it with a little olive oil, fresh basil, maybe a splash of vinegar, salt. Some families added a crumble of feta. Some added red onion, thin as paper. Some left it exactly as it was. However you made it, it tasted like August, like the peak of something that wouldn't last, like the kind of meal you can only make for about 3 weeks a year, when every ingredient is exactly right, and you'd better eat it now, because summer doesn't wait. And what's beautiful is that every person watching this carries their own version, their own porch, their own family, their own summer in a bowl or a cone or a tin or a glass. Because that's the thing about food. It doesn't just feed you, it holds you. It keeps something alive in you that nothing else quite can. We'd love to hear yours. Tell us in the comments, what was your summer food? What taste takes you right back? What did your grandmother make that you still haven't found the recipe for? If this journey brought back some memories for you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss what we have coming up next. On this channel, we celebrate good old American nostalgia and preserve our heritage, one story at a time. Until next time, take care, stay cool, and keep those summer memories alive.